involving too many people, what we'll do is we'll put it in a trust, and then we'll sell the trust.
And that's only an issue if they need to get a loan. If it's cash buyer, there's no banks.
Right. So if there's, I'm not sure what bank you're talking about. I assumed you were talking about a bank being a seller. And sellers typically, if it's a standard seller.
Well, no, or if it was just, say you're just buying it from someone,
Right.
a person.
Anyone.
Yeah.
So typically they don't care.
Oh, okay.
It's like, so typically right now there's multiple offers, and so they choose the one they like best.
Okay.
So if we're still better than anybody else, they're getting what they want. They chose it, and they're not paying us. The buyer's paying us.
Okay.
And what it does is we get paid out of escrow, and it goes on the HUD, the closing statement, as a buyer's fee. And so the seller's literally getting all the terms and conditions they want.
Okay. This is my second part of the question was,
Okay.
so I'm just wondering about the risk of, like, so you have someone who does the analyzing and the finding and all this, like kind of like a team. And what if one aspect of that team isn't solid, does that kind of throw it off then? Like if the analyzer misanalyzed it?
So I have an analyzing software that they use,
Uh-huh.
and it keeps it really simple.
Okay.
And if
'Cause
somebody,
so I noticed a margin, like even with the $3,000, if
Yes.
it's messed up at all,
Yeah.
that's gone.
so in California, we are really lucky because the basic California contract, which is what we use, the standard car contract, gives us 17 days of contingency period, which is pretty much a period for us to do all our due diligence, our inspections, look through everything. Most of these properties close in 10 days or less. So we literally never have anything in jeopardy, nothing ever at risk. So all we are doing is we're just securing something, and then somebody else is coming in and saying, I want it. If they want it, it's their responsibility to do their due diligence. And we're working with real estate investors that are professionals. They usually have a team of people. They're really good at what they do. They know the neighborhood. They know the numbers. They know everything. So typically, we'll send them all our estimates, and all it is we're estimating stuff to make everybody's job easier and everything smoother. But it's their house, their rehab, their resale, and every investor does stuff a little bit different. So it's their responsibility to look into their numbers. And sometimes numbers will be a little off on our end, and a deal will fall apart. But that's few and far between.
But you can always jump back out after before something. So if you don't have a buyer that really wants it, you can just say, forget it then? Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Put out any money to secure the place when you talked about the $65,000?
So really good question. So in California, again, you have 36 hours to get earnest money into escrow. Yep, deposit. So typically, I have somebody in mind lined up for a deal like this. We'll talk about this one. I'll use this as a hypothetical. So cash buyers are everywhere. This cash buyer called me 2 hours later. This property was sold. This was during the week of Christmas. I was again on vacation. This deal I made $2,500. Have you guys heard of Than Merrill? I sold this house to him. This is in San Diego. And so that first house was in Victorville. The second one we talked about was in San Bernardino. This one's in San Diego. So there's about a 3.5-4 hour drive time difference for all of these. And I'm just giving you guys a range so you can start thinking where you may want to invest and realize that it's okay to kind of expand your boundaries. Just give me 1 second. Remember your thought.
I will.
I have actually seen this house because I went and did a little film segment in there with Than's crew. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gone down there at all. And I saw it after we already bought it. So the agent, and these are all different agents, obviously, because they're all very different areas. The agent found this, again, online, on the MLS. This was a probate sale. They had multiple offers on it. So somebody from Than's team had called me and said, I know you do you get a lot of deals. How can I get one of your deals? I would love to send you some of my deals. The problem is my deals go really fast. Like, I call somebody and the deal's gone. So I need to know exactly what it is you buy, where you buy, your specifics. I need to know that you can deposit the earnest money instantly and that you can close in 10 days or less. Like, I don't sit on inventory. And he said, absolutely. He gave me his specs on what they're looking for. He said they would jump through all the hoops necessary to get it closed, because here's the thing, it's our reputation on the line. If we tell an agent and a seller that we're gonna buy it, and this was a probate sale, so the owner of the property had died and the kids were selling it. So for me, that really changes it a lot when it's not a bank-owned property, like it's a family, it's real, you know, it's a little, for me it's a little bit different. So when my agent called me and told me the specs of this house, I was like, this fits in with Dan Merrill's team, that would be great to get in with them and give them some deals, right? So I called them and I said, hey, here are the tentative specs. So what I do is I don't say, here's the address, do you want to buy it? Because obviously they'll see what it's listed for, they'll see our offer's not accepted, and they'll go in and make their own offer. So I say, I have a house in San Diego, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, it's 1,500 square feet, it needs approximately $50,000 in rehab, you can buy it for $120 and sell it for $280. Like, I'll give them tentative numbers, I'm like, does this work for you? And they're like, yes, and I'm like, great. I should know in the next couple of days if I get it. Can you get your earnest, it's probably $2,500 earnest money, can you guys get that in within 24 hours, and can you close in 10 days? Yes. So I get tentative yeses without giving them the address. So I don't give my competitors, like, so they can't go around me, right? So then I was told I got the deal, so I called them and said, go check it out, it's yours if you want it. They went and saw it like an hour later, they said they wanted it, so then they put earnest money into escrow. I'm not buying the property, I don't put my money up ever. If you guys aren't buying the property, you should never put your money into somebody else's property. They want to buy it, they have to front the money. If they're not willing to front the money, do you think they're really going to be buying it? It's like the first warning sign to work with somebody else. Their property, they need to front the money and they need to do it quickly. Like, anybody in real estate understands, like, time is of the essence. And if they don't move quickly, like, you move on. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and what's the time frame for the earnest money? Did you say 2 weeks?
In California, it's 36 hours.
Wow.
They want it in escrow right away, yeah.
The agents you have, are they getting like a full 6% for their part of the deal?
So the agents involved get paid their normal commission based on whatever the seller's negotiated.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's being handled.
has nothing to do with me, I don't pay the sellers, they get paid like normal agents get paid through a normal deal.
So you're not asking the agents to do anything abnormal?
No. So the agents are just buying and selling houses like normal, I'm just a repeat buyer, because most people who buy houses, they buy them once, and then you don't see them again for 5 or 10 years. What's great about working with us and me is I buy multiple houses, so they want to continue to work with me because working with me means they can make 4 or 5, 6 paychecks a month, depending on what they find and how hard they work.
So basically you go in with your name as finding the deal and or assignee.
Right.
You go in, you lock it in.
Yeah.
You have the house, you have the deal, and then you bring the buyer in.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go through, you basically have a trust for each property, or there's one trust that you have, and then you go and you put the and or assignee as the trust.
So
And
each
back-
property has its own trust.
Okay.
So I only use trusts if a bank is involved and they do not want assignments involved. So that's the only time I use a trust. If it's a standard seller or a bank that's okay with the assignment, then I just use my name or my company name.
So during that time, say they do accept and or assignee, your name's on their and or they accept it. What is that contingency time during the time that you set it up, that the client has to do their inspections and stuff? So they're normally 21 day or?
Okay, so in California, you have 17 days from the day you open escrow. Typically, I write my offers to close in 10 days, so they're covered the whole time. Most of these investors are in there within 12 hours, at most 24. They need to get, and here's my thing, like, I need to know they're gonna take the property. Because if they're not gonna take the property, I need to get somebody else in there, and my clock's ticking to get earnest money in there. It's like time is super of the essence, which is why I have people lined up. I always have somebody that's like, hey, I send out a few feeler, I usually do it with text because I like text better. Some people like to call, some people like to email. But I'm like, hey, here are the specifics. Is this something you would be interested in? And so I have a few tentative yeses, right? And some people come back and they're like, hey, I'm tapped out, I'm out of cash until next month, or I'm getting married, I can't do anything for a month, like things are coming up, and it's good to know ahead of time where the money's at and who can say yes quickly and who can't. Because if I only have one yes and two no's, I know that I need to find other backups, right?
So on other terms, you just disclose that you're a California broker.
I do, yeah. That's why it's good not to be licensed.
Yeah. I know, I have my license and I don't like being licensed.
Yeah, it's like, why this does nothing.
I have a deal coming up that one.
Okay, so coming back to that one where you got for 62 and the other guy, I
Yes.
heard he has for 70.
Yeah.
So was it because they liked you better, or was it because you had different terms?
Really good question. I go over that specifically in how to write up an offer. There's a few things involved in that. One is being likable. People choose to work with people they like. Like as an agent, the biggest problem with real estate deals are people flake, especially with investment properties. They fall out of escrow. The ones dealing with bank-owned properties typically have a big staff they're working with, and there's a lot of pressure to get it sold. And when properties fall out, they get in trouble. So their biggest priority is making sure that they get it closed. So they want to work with people they know can get it closed. They also want to work with people they like. I don't know how much experience you guys have with agents, but I would say 90% of them are horrible. Like most agents aren't that wonderful. Like, so there's like about 10%, that's who we get to work with, that are just amazing. They go above and beyond. They're extremely intelligent. They care. But I would say the majority of agents, like, they got into it because all you had to do is pass the test and get your license, and you could make a really big fat paycheck.
Go ahead.
So yeah, working with really high quality agents that have good reputations, other agents like to work with them because they're fun and they're easy to work with. Like we've all had bad experiences with people, either at work or at the DMV, right? We're like, I'm never gonna work with them again. And it's just like in real estate, there's agents that have horrible reputations and people are like, I don't care how good the offer looks, we're not working with that agent, so yeah.
So second part of the question, so if he was willing to pay 70 originally, you got it for 62,
Yeah.
why didn't you sell him for 70?
Well, so that's another really good question. And then the other thing I did talk about on our offer, so it's not only about working with people that are likable and have great reputations, we also structure our offer differently. Most agents will go in, because most agents have a background in just residential real estate, and they're like, this is how you're supposed to fill out an offer, you're supposed to check this box, and the buyer's supposed to pay for this, and the seller's supposed to pay for this, and this is how it's supposed to be done, and they get stuck in this supposed to be way. And so we come in and we're like, what does the seller want? Because the seller is a bank, and the bank is looking at 10 offers. How do we make ours more attractive? So we position our offer to make the seller say yes. So we'll pay for a bunch of little fees, and I'll talk about it when we get to that point, but that's why I call it our yes offer. Why ours get accepted for less money is everything else on our offer makes it easier and is so much more attractive to the seller that they're willing to take our offer for less money. So we'll talk about those specifics. And then you said another really good point that I don't remember now.
Oh, why didn't you sell to him for 70?
Okay. Why didn't I sell it to him for 70?
If he was willing to pay 70.
Right, so first of all, I didn't know he was willing to pay for 70. So what we do is, and I'll talk about this, I have a deal analyzer that projects numbers on what a house should sell for. And so we work backwards. We're like, hey, it should sell for 130, it should need around 30,000 in rehab. Somebody wants to make at least 20,000 in profit, that means we can't sell it for more than 65. So we work our numbers backwards. Which is what makes it really easy for our agents, because it's a software that does it, and it makes it really easy for the agents, because the agents always know, okay, this is what we go in and offer. We don't lowball, we go in and we always offer our highest and best. And here's the thing, on smaller, lower end properties, there's not a lot of margin. Like, they're just really low end properties, and they don't sell for a ton, so there's not a lot of profit. So those are more doing, 10 deals a month at $2,500 versus doing one big deal a month at $25,000. So that's why I think it's good to keep it like mixed up, because the great thing about the little deals is they're steady, they're consistent. The big deals are great, And when you're putting all your eggs in one basket and it falls apart, it's really scary. And when a little deal falls apart, you're like, no problem, there's 10 more coming in, right?
How do you, I just have a quick question, because it's happened to me before. How do you avoid that contract expiring with you and then them waiting for it to expire, and them going in and buying it without you? Because it's happened to me.
What do you?
It's like if you get the and/or assignee signed off from the bank and you have a 10-day escrow and you pass that 10-day and you go on the 11th day, and that same person that you were trying to sell it to waits for your 10 days and waits for the 12th day, and they go straight to the bank and get it after you've given the address. That happened to me in Bakersfield.
Okay, so I've never had that happen, but
Yeah.
there's crazy things that
Yeah.
happen in real estate.
Yeah, so I just, is there anything that you, any kind of addendum that you have signed or any kind of buyer?
You know, I would have to
agreement
look
or-
at my assignment contract. I had an attorney word it after I had a problem with the cash buyer.
Uh-huh.
Go around me, different than that. I sued him and I won. I haven't had that problem. Here's the thing, so we're in the relationship business, right? And the cash buyers we work with, like, I become their bread and butter because I'm gonna keep feeding them deals because I have all these agents working for me and they're writing up offers better than theirs because they don't know what they're technically doing. So screwing me over screws them over with 10 agents, right? So it's not a good idea. So I've never in all these years had an agent go around me or a buyer only one time went around me and the agent called me and told me, hey, oh God, what was his name?
John Smith.
God, I don't remember his name. I had it burned in my brain for so long. I'm glad I let that go, right? She called me and she's like, hey, just want to let you know that so-and-so called and said on all the future deals not to go through you, just to come to him directly, and it could save us both money. And I'm like, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I just let everybody I knew in Southern California knew not to give him any deals. So, I ended up
So you
taking,
did an email blast, that's funny. An email
I
blast.
know a lot of people, and he was brand new in the market, and that's, you don't find the hand that feeds you is not a good idea. And he ended up on that deal, long story short, he tried to go around me on stuff and didn't pay me my full assignment fee, and I took him to court and sued him, and I won.
And that's just from having all the signatures prior to.
Yeah, everything was handled. So on that, I don't know how to, because I would say the assignment contract, because do you have a separate assignment agreement you use?
Well, I basically done a lot of short sells and I'm an agent.
Right.
I started doing a little bit of wholesaling at the beginning, and then when that happened, I stopped.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here
So
today.
you
is I
don't get
wanna
to
back
stop
into it,
because
but I
we
wanna
hit
do
a
it
little
right.
road bump, you get to
So,
do
yes.
it again, you learned a good lesson, don't work with shitty people, right?
So I'm back and I'm trying to, because I've been, wholesaling, everybody's doing a lot of wholesaling right now, and it's a
Yeah.
great, you just need to get all your ducks in line and make sure that everything's signed and
Yeah.
it goes in the right direction. I guess you said a strong point about you work with people that you trust,
Yeah.
and you don't have to work with 100 people. And-
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is working with quality people. Like, period, hands down, it's non-negotiable. Somebody told me about 5 years ago, believe people when they show you who they are the first time. Like, if somebody shows up that they're lying about coffee or like any sort of something that's not in integrity, like small means they're gonna do big bad stuff. Like, non-negotiable, never make it okay.
The bottom of my contracts I put in there, buyer and seller will not get back outside of this agreement for at least 6 months. If they want to do it 6 months down the road, it's probably going to be sold to somebody else anyway.
Right, totally.
Right, that's a good thing to put in there.
Yeah, so I don't know how mine are worded. I don't remember, but I think mine has something like a year. I usually have really long, ridiculously long time periods. Something about a year. That way that they can't go around.
They could be sued, but who wants to spend the time suing them?
Right. And the only reason I sued that one guy is he was so darn mean to me, and he was a really bad person, and it became very obvious that that's what he does. He goes around and screws people, and most people are like, it's not worth it. And to be honest, he was so bad. I think we ended up going to court like 7 times because he would change the court date and then no show and then pretend to be sick, and it was nuts. But I was like, you know what? It's about all the people that couldn't go to court. It's not about me, it's not even worth the money, it was only $5,000, but it's, somebody has to stand up for him because all these people, like, he was crazy.
Can I
What was
ask
the
real quick
principle of it?
about agents? You said that you're picky about agents, as you should be. How do you find them? How do you vet them? And how many do you typically have in one particular area? More than one, or just dealing with
I do
one?
work with a bunch, I have that in here,
Okay.
and we keep talking about all the subjects I covered. I'm gonna get to the slide and I have nothing to say. But I think we're almost there, so we'll go through these really quick, and I will make sure I answer that for you.
It just tells you we're interested in what you
Yes,
have.
we're all on track. So this is a check for $5,000, 15,000, 5,000. So here it is. The first step of the 5 is building your team of Bird Dog agents. So you should be able to do this in 3 days, because I know some of you are like, how long is it going to take? What do I do? How many agents do I have in what area? So the biggest thing is about recruiting the right agents. I have a book that actually teaches them what we're doing, but you guys can also tell them whatever feels right for you guys. So I hire multiple agents in any one area, but nobody's allowed to work the same territory. So I don't know how big Santa Barbara is, but like, yeah, I don't know how big the area is here, so I can't give you guys an estimate. So San Diego, for example, I have 5 agents. So somebody would be like south or downtown, somebody's up north a little bit more, Carlsbad Oceanside, somebody's inland towards Vista, somebody's over by Escondido. So they're working their specific area that they're really, really good at. How many people live in Santa Barbara?
About 150,000.
Oh, that's pretty big. So you could probably,
Santa Barbara. Well, but the Santa Barbara.
Oh, I see.
okay. So you guys might be able to,
Yeah, Santa Barbara itself is only like 3.5, 4 miles long
okay.
and about a mile wide. It's really small.
Okay.
The actual city limits.
But nobody thinks about, just across the border.
Right, okay, so
In the whole
maybe,
South Coast area.
so what I would possibly do, and I'm open to your guys' feedback, I'm playing with this right now too, is I might have somebody, one person in Santa Barbara, and then like one person is there a town south or north of here, or inland. Yeah, and then somebody in those towns, and then even going further south, I know somebody from here really started working Pasadena area because that's where they grew up, that's where they were from. They could technically do everything remotely with an agent there that they trusted and respected, and they ended up doing a handful of deals there. So if there's an area you're familiar with, I have a client that lives in Oregon, and she does all her deals in Tennessee. She's never even been to Tennessee, and she's doing about 10 deals a month. So technically, having the right team, the right agents, you don't have to be there.
Is there generally like a better criteria than them just being like the right like people for it, where you're like, oh, maybe like
You're the right one.
right, yeah, but like maybe a certain like type of profession or something, or like an age range. I mean, like something like I don't know. I don't want to.
So I'm gonna
You know?
say the biggest thing with this is the gut check. Like, it has to feel right to you guys. We all work with different people and we all have different guts, right? Like, because they need to be people we like, because we're gonna be working with them a lot. I work with everybody. So some of my best agents are brand new, never done a deal, and they're just like, I'm so excited, I'm gonna go work for you, and they're working like 80 hours a week because they're so excited they finally have a client, and I'm like, I need you to do this, this, and this, and they're like jumping through hoops, and they're like, that was so cool, what else can you teach me? And so it's like, new agents are great. I also work with seasoned agents that have been in the industry for a really long time because they know what they're doing, they've been there, they've done it, they have great advice, because on some of these deals, it's like, hey, what do you think we should do? I'm not an expert in your market, like you guys heard that you work this huge territory. Every market is so completely different, like I am not an expert, I have no idea what's going on in your market, so what do you think we should offer? I work with people that are agents that are doing short sales, that have REO bank connections. And then there's really bad things about it. So it's not really like their experience, because then there's really bad agents that are new, that are just complete idiots, and they don't want to work very hard. They got in thinking real estate, you could make a ton of money quickly. Then there's older agents that are experienced that think real estate should be done like this. And when we ask them to do something outside of the box, they freak out. So it's not really, for me, a criteria thing. It's a, hey, this is what I do. Are you interested in doing this with us? And the vibe on the phone will be either absolutely yes, and they'll actually contribute and throw ideas out or ask you questions so that they can help you better. Or you're going to get the vibe like, I think you're going to bug me, and you're like, okay.
Full-time, part-time agents, any issue there?
Typically, I work with full-time agents. I like working with people that this is their job, this is their life, this is their livelihood. I also find it really easy to work with agents that have teams, because they get a lot more downtime, they get more breaks, they're not as burnt out, and if they're busy or have commitments, they have somebody else that can pick up the ball.
Okay.
Aren't most of the deals they find right at market value,
Yeah.
or how do you make money if you just buy them?
Well, so they're all properties that need money invested in them.
Okay.
So
You make
they're all
that
fixers.
explicit to
Yeah.
them.
They're all fixers. So there's profit once they're rehabbed.
Okay.
What's your hot deal handbook?
So my hot deal handbook is I just I literally specifically wrote down exactly what I do, how I do it, what I need from the agent, so that we can kind of work together easily and seamlessly. Some people can describe it really easily to an agent. Other people don't feel as confident and would prefer to be like, hey, this is what I do, here's a book. It's like 20 pages. It's a really quick and easy read to, everybody's a little bit different. So this is an agent I worked with representing Lindsey, Jean, and David. Their agent selling investor properties was very easy and beneficial. Although I was somewhat hesitant because I didn't know anyone else doing deals this way, I wrote up several offers for both Lindsey and Dave. Within a week, the bank accepted our offer on Temple Street in San Bernardino. Upon receiving the bank's acceptance of our offer, we opened escrow, and Lindsey already had it reassigned to an end buyer within 48 hours. It was very easy. I didn't have the headaches of driving to dozens of properties, and there weren't appraisals, inspections, or other demanding conditions. The buyer closed quickly with cash, and it was great. I would highly recommend working with Lindsey and David to start for all investor opportunities. So this is an agent I worked with. This is exactly how the process goes down. A lot of times for agents that have worked with investors know exactly what we're doing, know exactly how we're doing it, and they're all on board. She was a brand new investor. She worked at a very conservative firm that was like, that sounds freaking weird.